So you actually think that Arnold is not all about bodybuilding and is caring too less about bodybuilding, or
He cares about bodybuilding, the business end of it. He
yeah,
doesn't
true.
care because he's making a shkadol. You know, he's making the money. All right. He doesn't care about the bodybuilder. If he cared about the bodybuilder, bodybuilders would have health benefits. I mean, you're taking steroids and doing all this other shit. You got no health benefits. You got nothing. You get nothing out of being a bodybuilder. That's why everybody's got to try to get a supplement contract or fucking do personal training and all that shit. You know what I mean? Can you imagine in Europe if a soccer player didn't make money playing soccer, he's got to go out and fucking get endorsed, or he's got to teach other little kids how to play soccer. Meanwhile, he's the best soccer player. No, dude. If you get hurt, you should be, you know, if you belong to an organization like the IFBB, they should have some medical packages, you know, medical benefit packages. There should be a retirement program. You got none of that in bodybuilding. So when you're done bodybuilding, that's why guys like Flex Wheeler and all these guys, they all want to come back. Because when you're done with bodybuilding, bro, you got to find another way to make a living. You can't live off of just what, you know, you made in bodybuilding. You know what I'm saying?
I'm understanding you. You're pretty right. People just have to spend their money wise, but in bodybuilding it's pretty hard to have enough money after the career to live on for the rest of your life.
Arnold's a politician. Like I said in the movie Bigger, Stronger, Faster. What you see is not what you get. It's what he wants you to see. He's standing up there like this, but he's got the middle finger under the table. That's the truth. He's telling everybody, if he really gave a shit about bodybuilders, he'd make sure that bodybuilders got more money. He'd make sure that they fucking could make a living and take care of their families and shit. You know, or when they retire, they put 20 years in bodybuilding, they got a little something. They don't got to open up a gym somewhere and do personal training or sell fucking drug, you know, juice.
Yeah, you're right. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Greg, when you were like 275, did women actually like that, or were they like, what the fuck? Did you had success back then with your look?
I only do good with girls because of my gift of gab, because I'm an ugly motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? No, they didn't like it. They wanted to throw up. You know what I'm saying? They were like, what the fuck is that? I would go to clubs, and girls would be like, oh my God. You know what I mean? The guys would be like, oh, dude, what the fuck, you know? They'd mush their girlfriend in the face just to get to talk to me about, like, yo, dude, you know, what do you do for this or what do you do for that? You know, hey, you training? Do you take tests? What do you know? All that shit. I'd be giving seminars in a club.
Crazy. You actually knew Victor Richards. I think you trained with him. You said that on a story.
Yes.
You trained with him. Do you think he could do well as a pro bodybuilder if he would compete as a pro?
He's the biggest genetic freak I've ever seen. People talk about Big Ramy. Big Ramy's nothing compared to Victor Richards. And you're talking about Victor Richards in the 80s, in the fucking 80s, not with today's drugs. With today's drugs, he would be even, forget about it. I mean, his legs, if you cut his leg in half like this, right? His leg was as round as a 45-pound plate. I mean, he was fucking humongous. I mean, he was a monster. And he was doing weights that were like sick. I was spotting him. You know, he'd have like 260-pound dumbbells doing fucking a lot of reps with it on the incline. I mean, he was just, he was way before all these guys. These guys are all fucking drugs. Victor Richards took off drugs, he's still big. You know what I'm saying? You put these other guys off drugs, they're fucking Pee Wee Herman. You know?
Yeah. Did he call you little man? Or what?
Yeah. Yeah, we had an argument. You know, we're actually good now, but we had an argument. Shut your mouth, little man. You know, he's got to put the lamb in the coconut. You know, like that accent. But we squashed it. We're good now. You know. But yeah, we did. We had a big fight, me and him. Big argument. This was like 1982, I think it was. 82 or 81. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, you're right. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. I'm old.
Yeah, but you're still fit and you're still in the business, so you're doing something right. You're doing something right. When you trained back then in Gold's Gym, did it already felt legendary back then, or was it like afterwards that you say it was great, or was it different?
No, Gold's Gym today is a joke. It's Disneyland. You know, the Gold's Gym that people go to now is in fucking Disneyland. But when I was younger, forget about it. It was like You know how they talk about like the Camel Crew out there and that fucking, you know, Oxygen Gym and all. Dude, Oxygen Gym don't want a day of Gold's Gym in its prime, and I was there. I was lucky enough to be. I was in World's Gym, and Arnold. You know, I see Arnold in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning working out. I mean, there's Arnold right there, sitting right there, doing like cable rows and shit. You know what I mean? And it, you know, it's mind blowing to see the guys that you grew up with, like looking at the magazines and holy shit, here he is right here. And those were legends, those guys, you know. And it was a crazy. The Barbarian brothers were there every day. They were nuts. You know what I mean? It was like an animal house too. It was crazy. I seen fights in there. You know, they would throw up all over the place. They were nuts. Arnold used to puke too, by the way. I want you to know that. Arnold can't train with food in his stomach or he'll throw up.
Okay, great.
A little tidbit.
Yeah. I read somewhere in the internet that you started off with the whole injection thing, with injecting vitamin B12 in your biceps. Is that true?
That's 1,000% true. It's the first injection I ever took. I was taking like the first steroid I ever took was Dominican D-ball. They called down at Bolex. And then I was taking a vitamin B12 anyway, and I stuck it. I remember sticking it in my bicep, and the fucking thing swelled, and I was like, oh shit, you know. But I felt good, you know. I don't know. Needles felt good to me.
Yeah.
It was a pincushion.
Yeah.
I liked every minute of it. Loved every minute of it.
Yeah. When I check the bodies of today's bodybuilders, I think basically no one is able to do a vacuum pose. Most of the guys don't even can control their guts when in contest shape. Do you think that's the whole, you know, the whole reason for that is the drugs, or do you think there is something else?
I think it's a combination of, you know, today these guys eat massive amounts of food, and you know, lots of fats too, lots of proteins. Back in you know, in Arnold's day, you know, guys would do a lot. You know, they would eat. It was milk, eggs, and meat, not milk. Yeah. Meat, eggs, and water. They used to drink a lot, like before a show. That's what they would do. Meat, eggs. That was like a Vince Gironda thing. And I think your stomach sunk in. But today with all the drugs, plus think about this: when you shoot growth hormone, a lot of guys are shooting it right in the stomach themselves. Yes, it's in the skin, but still, I just feel like it affects everything. I think it's a combination of things: insulin, growth hormone, growth factor. I never did any of that shit. I think guys are nuts today doing insulin. That's crazy. I never did growth hormone in my life. I'm an androgen junkie. I love androgens. You know, and also when I was juiced out of my mind, I didn't compete, so I didn't give a shit. You know, I didn't care what I look like. I look like fucking Uncle Fester on steroids. You know what I'm saying? But which isn't a pretty look. But you know. So basically, I never got no gut bloat. I didn't shoot that shit in there. But I do believe that insulin, growth hormone, and growth factor are involved, plus massive amounts of eating stretch the gut. If you eat tons of food like these guys do today, and they take all these other drugs to cut, it wasn't like that back in the old days. You know what I mean? Drugs were simpler in Arnold's day. You know, the D-ball, you know, Deca, Test, you know, today they're taking everything. There's a drug for everything, even a drug to help you tan better. A drug to help. I mean, everything. You know, I think it matters.
Yes, like you said, it's hard for a bodybuilder to make a living on the sport. So a lot of bodybuilders are doing gay for pay. Do you think it's a good way to earn money? Can you understand it, or do you say that you shouldn't do that, basically?
I believe you do whatever the fuck floats your boat. You know what I mean? If you could do that, you could do that. Most gay for pay, well, see, I did that one thing where I did that with that art director, that art dealer. I don't know if you saw the Generation Iron video I did with that, you know, where my friend was like, yo, dude, you got to make some money. Just go, you know, we blew darts in this guy's ass and shit, you know. You know, go in the Generation Iron, you can see the video.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you know, the whole gay for pay, I'm pretty sure most of those guys, I don't know if they actually, you know, fuck other guys or get blown or blow or whatever. I don't know if they do that, but I know that you know, back in the old days, you know, guys would pose and, you know, some old guy would jerk off and then give you money, you know. If that's what you got to do, you know, who am I to fucking cast judgment? You know what I mean? You know, if Arnold would fucking help these guys make a living a little bit more, like we just talked about, maybe give guys medical benefits, and they could actually make some money competing, and maybe guys wouldn't have to do that. But today, you know, bodybuilders are lazy cocksuckers. They don't want to get a job. They don't want to, you know, I want to bodybuild. You know what I mean? So they do shit to make money fast. And if it's not steroid dealing, it's that shit, you know? I'm really blunt. I'm sorry. And I don't shut the fuck up. So if I'm rambling on too long, you can tell me.
You can talk
My girlfriend's rolling her eyes.
You can talk as much as you want. I enjoy it because I really love your videos and everything. So it's great.
Thank you.
To talk to you. You said that you had a Napoleon complex.
Yes.
Do you still have it, or is it over?
No, I still got it. I still feel it. I couldn't grow taller, so I grew really wide. But you know, if it was up to me, you know, I'm like a guy that's 6'5", 6'6", in a 5'6" body. You know what I mean? Like I don't like being short, but you know, that's what am I gonna do? You know what I mean? I wish I could do something about it. Walk around on stilts or something. I don't know. But yeah, I do. I always have a Napoleon complex. You know, so when I was younger, you know, we get in fights and shit. You know, and you know, I remember. I swear to God, I remember one time a guy telling another, you know, me and a bunch of my friends, and one guy goes, "I'm gonna take the little guy," and I'm like, "The little guy." Dude, I'm better than my friends over here who are much bigger than me. Now you're getting your ass kicked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But yes, I do have a Napoleon complex still, always.
Okay. You know, Phil Heath is not pretty active in that whole YouTube thing and his outer appearance thing. Do you think a Mr. Olympia should be more than just a competitor? Do you think he should, you know, represent more, or do you think it's normal for Phil Heath being a little, you know, introverted and not that into this video scene and everything?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I think that Phil Heath is not a really likable guy to people don't, he's probably the most, I mean, aside from like Chris Dickerson won the Mr. Olympia and a few other guys, you know, but he's probably the most least liked Mr. Olympia. People just haven't really attached themselves to him as a Mr. Olympia, number one. Number two, it's not like the Miss America where they fucking send you around the world, you know what I mean? You're making appearances and everything. To the rest of the world, bodybuilders are freaks. You know what I mean? Like, we're disgusting, just juice heads. It's a disgrace of a sport, you know, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, maybe they're right. I don't know. But how do you think about it? Like, how do you judge a bodybuilding show? I mean, if you look at Picasso and then you look at Michelangelo, they're two different types of art. Who's to say which is better? I look at Picasso, it looks like a high school kid did that shit. You know what I'm saying? But realistically, you know what I mean? And the same thing, like, if you want to go on sheer development, like, think about this, right? Development. Bodybuilding is about the ultimate development. Developing the muscles to, like, the biggest, hardest, you know, they can be. Then in that case, Marcus Rule is a better bodybuilder than Frank Zane, which is not really the case, because we know Frank Zane won the Mr. Olympia 3 times. His body was beautiful. But if you go by development, think about this, right? By development, if you went to your next door neighbor who knows nothing about bodybuilding and you showed him a picture of Marcus Rule and then you showed him a picture of Frank Zane and said, which one of these two guys is a greater bodybuilder? They would probably point to Marcus Rule because he's way more developed. Think about it. Calves, Marcus Rule. Thighs, Marcus Rule. Hamstrings, Marcus Rule. Abs, we'll give that to Zane. Chest, Marcus Rule. Shoulders, Marcus Rule. Traps, Marcus Rule. Arms, Marcus Rule. He hasn't beaten every body part yet. He couldn't stand next to Frank Zane in his prime. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, really, bodybuilding judging is a matter of opinion. Now, put that with the Mr. Olympia contest. Again, they don't, the Mr. Olympia contest, they hand you some fucking fake-ass check, and they, you know, give you a little trophy and shit, you know, Sandow, and they smack you on the ass and you're on your way. You know, you do some photo shoots, but they don't really do anything to promote you and to help you get out there on television. You know what I'm saying? If you win the Super Bowl, or a guy like Conor McGregor wins, you know, the MMA show, you know, the UFC, you know, he's on fucking Conan O'Brien, he's on fucking Jay Leno, he's on this one, he's on that. You know, they're on television shows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mr. Olympia, it's not like that. They don't do that. They don't help promote you. So, you know, I don't know. It's a little bit of everything with Phil Heath. You know, he's a strange guy. I don't know. I don't dislike him enough, but you know, when I saw him taking a bubble bath in that fucking, I don't know, was it Generation where we took the bubble bath or cigar? Like, dude, really, you taking a bubble bath? You know?
Yeah, I think my opinion is that Phil Heath can't really take criticism. I once criticized him, but it was constructive criticism on Instagram. He directly blocked me, so he's actually checking all his comments and everything. So I don't know. It's hard to.
Hey Deniz, if I blocked everybody that fucking hated me, I'd have to block my own children and my girlfriend. You know what I mean? If I blocked everybody who talks shit about me, my girlfriend wouldn't even be able to get on my kids wouldn't even be able to, they talk shit about me more than anybody. So what I'm saying is, you know, hey, remember the old article, the most hated man and all this bullshit, which is all bullshit. But regardless, you know, everybody talks shit about me. You know, I mean, you know, they accuse me of you name it, I'm accused of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When I see these bodybuilders today, do you think they will live up to 70, 80 years old, or do you think that the massive amounts of steroids will actually really shorten their life, or do you think it's completely genetics?
That's a great question, because that's the reason why I don't want to get like super huge right now, which I can, because genetically I could blow my nose and I get bigger, but the thing is, as I'm older now, you got to start worrying about that, because the body weight itself is not good. I do think that steroids abuse after a while. Now, I abused the shit out of them. I'm not going to lie. Abused the fuck out of them. But I only did it for 5 months. For 5 months.
5 years, yeah. 5
years, until then I'm sitting in jail, and then no more steroids. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying to you is, and I've taken it since then, but what I'm in small amounts. I don't want to take huge amounts of anything or get jacked or super huge. I would take shit just to keep, you know, my testosterone levels up now, because I don't really feel like I need to. I don't want to be huge. But that's a good question, because if they're going to try to maintain and look like a Joe bodybuilder, even as an older man, you better fucking, it's going to be trouble, because the heart is not good. That's not good. Bodybuilders have big hearts as it is, and I don't mean like, you know, feeling for people. I'm talking about they get big fucking hearts have grown, and that's not a good thing. And steroids, you know what I mean? I'm not anti-steroid or pro-steroid, but you gotta, you know, after a while, when you're my age and you don't want to be 275, you're asking for trouble. I'm telling you. You know, let me tell you something, Deniz. It's my theory, and you know, I could be wrong with this, because I'm wrong with most everything, but it's my theory is that it's almost worse to be fat. I mean, it's almost better to be a little bit fat than be super huge muscle. And the reason why is because fat doesn't call. Yeah, I know fat gets around the organs and the heart and all that. I get that. Okay, but body fat doesn't have the blood flow that muscle does. So when you're 275 and it's such a strain on the heart to supply blood to all of that muscle, to 270. Fat doesn't have that kind of blood. It puts a different kind of strain on the heart. So, you know, I'm just saying, body weight when you're older is no good. And if you're doing a lot of anabolics and you still think you're going to be, you know, Joe Mataraz's bodybuilder, you're in trouble. You know, that's the way I believe.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's probably like that. What I think is, when I see the guys training today, do you think that the mindset changed, because today they have all that technology, that smartphone when they train, they are making live videos when they train, so they're posting everything, so it's the focus is more probably distracted, or do you think that technology actually fucks up a lot of people, because, or do you think that it's just a strongness or weakness of their mind getting distracted?
I'm not really sure what you're asking me. If you're asking me, like for instance, when you watch a YouTube video of a bodybuilder, of course he's going to put on a little bit of a show for you. You know, most of those guys when I've been in the gym they don't go balls to the walls with their training. And I mean, a lot of them, you'd be shocked, okay? But of course, if there's a camera going, they're going to put a lot of weight on the bench, put on a show, you know, and fucking, yeah, and all that. But that's because there's a camera going. You see, these guys show you what they want you to see. They're trying to be showmen. I mean, you know, when I show you shit, I don't give a shit. I don't have an ego. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting in a king's chair. Babe. You know, I'm not sitting in a fucking throne acting like, you know, oh, I'm the fuck. I'm just a fucking dog chasing his tail. You know what I mean? I'm a normal guy. I'm like Al Bundy. You know, I got my kids fucking driving me fucking crazy. You know, my girlfriend driving me fucking nuts. You know, I'm just a, you know, one of those kind of guys. So when I do YouTube videos and I tell you some stories and I get into it, people, I think they can relate to me because I'm not trying to put on this air like I'm fucking, hey, I'm sitting in a king's chair with fucking, you know, fake eyes on and shit. I don't do that shit, you know. I'm a Momo, you know. So these guys are showing you what you want them to see. Now, I'm not sure if I really answered your question. If you're saying go ahead, I'm sorry.
Good answer, yeah. It's a part of that question. I think actually Al Bundy, Joe Pietaro looks a lot like Al Bundy on steroids. Are you with me? He looks a little bit like that.
He does. He does look like Al Bundy on steroids. I'm gonna tell. He knows that. He laughs because everybody always says that about Joe. He's a good guy, though.
He's
you know,
a good guy,
we get along really well, and you know, we've built our magazines. You know, getting bigger now. Everybody else is shrinking. We're getting better. You know, and you know, you can see by just looking at the page counts. You know, but you know, again, I'm not when you the technology part of what you were talking about. Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot more equipment. There's a lot more steroids. There's a lot more, you know, things are different today. You know, the supplements, the chemicals for everything. You know what I'm saying? There's chemicals to help you go to bed. Chemicals to help you wake up. There's there's new kinds of stimulants every day. There's new everything. You know what I mean? So I think that there is a little bit more technology than the old days. But yet, a guy like Sergio Oliva had the mass of. In the 1960s, had the mass of anybody alive today. All these bodies, just he didn't have the gut blow. You know what I mean? His arms were humongous. His legs were humongous. His shoulder width was crazy. He was stick through the chest and back. I know Sergio too. And I'm telling you, he had the mass of the guys today with a 28, 29-inch waist. So, see, that's all drugs. Those guys trained, though. That's the difference. Those guys back then, they were in the gym and he busted a nut. These guys today, they'll do a whole like cable, you know, doing some cable curls and you know, like they don't train like that, you know.
Flex Wheeler is doing a comeback this year. A lot of people are, you know, are keen on seeing him. They're waiting on seeing him performing there. Do you see the videos where they say does he have Synthol in his arm? Do you think he has oil in his arm or had oil in his arm? Because it looks a little, you know, terrific with his arms.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know what he's got in there. I mean, his arms look a little different than they used to look. I like Flex Wheeler. I mean, if he wants to compete again, that's his prerogative. I do feel he has nothing to gain and everything to lose. Think about it. Think about this. He's competing in classic physique, which is not the same as bodybuilding, okay? So if he wins, you know what everybody's going to say? Yeah, but he won classic physique. Come on, dude. You were once one of the greatest bodybuilders. You placed second in the Olympia, and you're going to compete in classic physique. Let me see what you do in bodybuilding. So, and if he loses, then they're going to say, oh, my God, he can't even win a classic physique show. He's finished. So if I was him, I would not do it because realistically, if you because it's classic physique, it's not bodybuilding. And if you lose, they're going to say, see that? You're washed up. You can't even win a classic physique. Oh, yeah. I don't think he can. But I know if he watches this, I know Flex, you get a little bit hot under the collar. People and yeah.
Connections.
I wish you'd be happy. I hope you make a ton of money.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, with that.
Yeah. Greg, when is the Delt video coming, man? You're saying it for more than 1 year. Delt video, Delt training video of yours.
Oh shit! You know, well, let me hide now. Hold on. No, I'm gonna do the Delt. You know.
Okay.
It's the and look a bunch of things. A, I'm a late motherfucker. So that's it. You know, B, there's a lot to delts. Delts are the one body part that. Think about how many exercises you could show for the front delt, for the side delt, you know what I mean? It's a really, I have to get really in depth with that. It's 3 body parts together, and there's 100 exercises for each. I mean, you know, you could take a dumbbells, do like this. You could do barbell. You know, you could sit there, fucking take a plate, hold it, and do it. You know, there's a million fucking. I got to, you know, I kind of bit off. I should never have told people to delt. I'm an idiot, you know. But it will. I will shock the world with a delt video. It will come.
Okay. I will watch it. Hopefully it will come this year. Did you already see Generation Iron 2? Is it good?
What's that? I'm actually in that
2.
movie, Generation Iron 2.
Great, great. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna see. I do a little rant. You know, they wanted to do even more with me. They're a little pissed, but I went off. You know, I don't even know what part. I'm in it though. Trust me, you'll see.
Okay,
and then I got season 3 of my own show coming, which we start filming in like a couple weeks, and that'll be done, and you'll start seeing Generation Iron season 3, and we're gonna get funky with that one. So it's that's gonna be really good. They're really up in their game. They're renting a sound stage and all kinds of stuff. So we're gonna really make that one ass kicking. You know.
Okay.
The Generation, you know, I didn't see the movie. I know that when I was in the studio, they asked me to do some, like, you know, some ranting on some shit, and I did. So I know that I'm in it.
Okay, great. I'll watch it. Thanks for answering all my questions. I did enjoy the interview and everything. Do you have anything to say for the fans, for the watchers? Any message?
No, I appreciate you. You know, having me on. I hope all the people out there where you live, like in Europe or whoever watches this, you know, I love all you guys. You know, we're all momos together. You know, a momo's just like the average fucking guy, just trying to put on a little muscle, trying to, just good-natured slob like Al Bundy. You know what I mean? From the Bundys, you know, you just trying to make things happen. You know, you're just another fly in the ointment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what a momo is, and we're all momos. But you know, I love it, and I love all the guys. I don't give a shit about pro bodybuilding. I don't care who wins the Mr. Olympia. I like the when I go to the expos or any of that shit, which I haven't been, but I will be soon. I go because you know I like the people. You know, I like meeting the people. I can give a shit about the bodybuilders. They're all fucking fuckos. You know what I mean? So I don't give a shit who wins the Olympia. I don't care who places. I don't care how this one looks at that one. There's a few guys I'm friends with. Branch Warren, Victor Martinez, a few guys like that I like. Other than that, I can give a shit.
Okay.
You know. But thank you for having me on, really.
No problem.
And I appreciate all your support. I seen the other video you did where you were talking about me with and everything, and I really appreciate it, man. And I'll come on anytime you need. There's anything else you want to ask me, I'm more than happy to do it for you.
Okay, thank you. Maybe do you have a little crazy story or something, because people love it? You don't have to tell anything.
I'm trying to think of one I haven't told that I'm not going to tell in the Generation. Crazy shit happens to me all the time. Every day. Just I mean, I'm trying to think of something that I haven't. Because there's one I'm doing a video. I'm going to tell the story. And if I tell it now, you know what I'm saying? It's one with my mother-in-law. I got to watch The Girlfriends, right? Well, she just went from here. She's on the porch over there. But I'm trying to think of. I mean, I remember when I first went up to Arnold Schwarzenegger. I was young, and he was in the gym, and I remember I went up to him, and he was doing. I used cable rows before because that's what he was doing. He was doing the cable rows. I see him do a million things, but that always sticks in my mind. And I remember I went up to him, and I was like hugging him, and he goes to me, I'm like, oh my God, and he goes to me, don't get so emotional. But it was fun because I would see him and I'd see Franco in the gym. Franco's a real fucking momo. I mean, I was with Alessandro Savi, who's an Italian champion and everything like that. And Franco's trying to lift up his shirt and look at his abs, poking his stomach, because he wants to see like if he had a gut or anything, So, but I mean, like there's a lot of stuff like like in the bodybuilding world. I mean, I used to go in the gym and I'd see the Barbarian brothers farting, throwing up, picking their nose. They'd be talking to a girl and a guy would be digging with his pinky. It's the only guys in California would pick their nose. I'm Italian. We used to fucking point your finger. But when you're in fucking California, you pick your nose with your pinky. Okay. But they would it's just crazy shit like that. Kent Kuhn used to be behind the desk. He was a very famous older bodybuilder. He's the one that was sitting on Arnold's when Arnold was doing the donkey calf raises and pumping iron. He was one of those guys, and he would fucking not let you fucking train. He'd be talking your fucking ear off and shit. And I should talk, right? But the Gold's Gym era was a phenomenal era. I got a million stories. I I seen Tom Platz get his ass kicked by Jeep Swenson out in the parking lot. It was over a girl. I think she actually married Tom Platz. It was Jeep Swenson's ex-wife. Okay. You know who Jeep Swenson is, right?
Bro, I don't know her. I don't know her. Really?
No, it's a guy. Jeep Swenson beat up Tom Platz. Yes.
Ah, okay.
You know who it is? What was he? Bane in a you know, remember that, like, with Arnold Schwarzenegger? He was in that, was a Running Man or whatever. He was, you know, remember Jeep Swenson, the big, you know, that big guy, that Bane. I think he played Bane or whatever, Mr. Freeze. And, you know, there's like a lot of shit. I seen Tim Belknap get his ass kicked. I'm just saying, it was a crazy era, you know. And I saw a lot of things at Gold's Gym. It was great. You used to see Lisa Lyons in there all the time. You know, you remember Lisa Lyon, very famous. She was the first female that they used to put in the magazines. Do you remember her? Yeah, you probably don't remember.
I don't even remember her. Yeah.
No, you know what it is? It's all, these are all older bodybuilders and old, like, back in the day thing.
Yeah, I will.
You're young, that's why.
I will Google them all afterwards.
Yeah, you're young. That's what it is. I can go and tell you a million stories about all that shit. But a lot of the people, you might be like, "Who the fuck is Ken Kuhn?" But if you saw Pumping, he was in Pumping Iron and shit. You know, Leon Brown's got some great stories. You know, with Arnold. You know, Arnold would go to a party, drink one fucking beer, and then go home, go to sleep early, then start knocking on their door at like 4:30 in the morning. Let's train. You know what I mean? He would eat like fucking hamburger. He used to call that steak. So he would eat a hamburger with eggs, you know, fried eggs. And then sometimes he would have a pancake because he used to like pancakes. It was favorite food, you know? Like, I know a lot of, like, little shit like that that's really cool, you know, like, interesting. Like, Arnold was never a partier. He would go to a party. If he drank a beer, he would have one beer. So he tries to make this thing like, yeah, let's smoke pot, I'm cool, you know. But he really wasn't. That's all. He's trying to make himself look like, you know, you know, I'm down with anything. But he when he was in his prime, he was actually very focused, you know. They used to, you know, I know a million stories. One of him coming out of a fucking clinic, they were getting steroids in a you know, he knew some nurse, and he used to go to this clinic, and she would give him the shit. Him, Leon Brown, Franco, and a cop was out there giving him a ticket. He jumped in the car and he drove off, you know, as the cop was trying to write the ticket, you know. They were, you know, he used to drive the little white Volkswagen back then. You know, they used to do crazy shit. I know a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you know a lot of stuff. Yeah, you know, you have a lot of inside information which you don't, you know, see or get anywhere else. It's great. So, thanks again. I will edit that video and everything. I will email you, and I think the fans will appreciate it. I hope it will get a good response. So I wish you a good day. And
thank you, Deniz. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me, and I hope all you guys out there, you know, I don't call them fans. They're like supporters and friends. You know what I mean? Okay. Fan is for like sports teams.
Okay. All the supporters. I hope they will like it. So bye. Wish you all the best.
All right. We'll see you. Thank you again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.